Hi, I'm Jay Schaefer, and today we're going to be balancing a Canon 5D Mark II with a 16-35mm lens onto the Jaybilizer HDSLR camera stabilizer. Okay, very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and weigh in our camera here. So I'll bring out my handy dandy postal scale here, and I'll go ahead and weigh our rig here. And this rig weighs about 3 pounds and 7 ounces. Okay, and that's the Canon EF 16-35mm f1.28 lens. Got a lens shade here, a couple filters, and that's a nice setup for shooting with the stabilizer. Okay, when you get your Jaybilizer HDSLR, it'll look something like this. So the very first thing you want to do is go ahead and pull off the camera plate, and you can do that by just loosening the screw here and releasing the catch, and then we're going to mount the Canon onto the camera plate. Okay, we'll go ahead and mount the plate about halfway up on the plate there, maybe a little bit toward the rear, because DSLRs tend to be lens heavy, obviously, because they've got all the glass on them. And so what we're going to do, so we're going to just go ahead and put this toward kind of the rear of the plate there, and I'll use my 25-cent camera attachment tool here and tighten that down. Make sure that that's good and square and straight on the camera. And then we'll go ahead and slide the camera onto the Jaybilizer HDSLR. And the very first thing that we want to do is that we want to balance the camera from front to rear. So I'll go ahead and release my hold on that, and we'll look and see what we've got as far as front to back balance here. And you can see that now this camera is actually kind of lens heavy and obviously quite a bit right heavy. So all we're concerned with is front to back at this point. So we'll go ahead and say, okay, that's going to go just a little bit further to the back. So I'll slide that a little bit further to the back, and then I'll kind of look at it and say, well, okay, now I'm a little bit rear heavy, and I'll release it, loosen that, test that, and I've got an approximate front to back balance. Okay, and that's just a good place to start. The next thing that we're concerned with is our counterweight balance. Okay, and the counterweight balance is basically how much the camera is weighted from top to bottom. Okay, if we hold it here, you'll see that we have our counterbalance bar down here, and we're balancing pretty much right there on the pivoting gimbal there, so that we have our center of rotation on the gimbal. Okay, so the way that we test this is that we take our camera, and if we turn it to 90 degrees here, and we release the camera, it takes about a second to right itself. Okay, and we kind of cheated a little bit here for this video shoot and did our counterbalancing before, and so we have actually 5 weights each on the 2 outside studs, and then we have 3 weights each on the 2 inside studs there, and that gives us about the proper amount of counterbalance. Now, next step is we'll look at our left to right balance, and you'll see here that the Canon 5D is quite right heavy. Okay, that's due to the battery there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and loosen this off there and slide the camera plate off. And if you look under the camera plate, we have a large set screw here in the center of the sliding plate. And this allows us to loosen up and slide our dovetail sliding plate left to right to get a balance here. So we want to balance this a little bit more toward the left, so we'll slide the plate over here. We'll make sure that we get this good and tight, because we don't want our camera to slide off of there. And then we'll go and slide our camera plate on, kind of remembering where our front to back balance was. And we'll check our left to right balance. Okay, and you can see now that I'm a little bit back heavy and a little bit left heavy. So I'll go in here again, loosen this up one more time, and just come a millimeter to the right there. Okay, I'll do a quick check of left to right balance. Okay, I'm level left to right. Now we'll go ahead and check our front to back, and we're a little bit back heavy here. Just slightly slide that forward. Now we're lens heavy. And again, these are very precise adjustments. It's just a matter of a millimeter or two as far as our balance goes. Okay, so now we have a perfect front to back balance, nice left to right balance. And you'll notice that we can get our counterbalancing right because I can take the camera and I can move it left to right, and you'll notice that it stays vertical. Okay, that's one test for your counterbalancing. The same thing is if we move forward and back here, is that the lens is not doing this porpoising thing. Okay, so that means that we've got good front to back balance. So there you go. There's a perfectly balanced Canon 5D Mark II on a Jaybilizer HDSLR.